Keep, sell, or loan, Rasenal community. That is what we are going to be doing today. Here on Rasenal TV, we're going to be going through our squad and deciding whether we will keep, sell, or loan our players. As of right now, in the international break, we got to keep ourselves entertained. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing the content to you. Big up yourselves and welcome back to Rasenal TV. I am your host, Dini. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are locked in. I don't know how much content I'm going to bring you over this international break, but once a day at least, yo, I gotta get something. You understand? So make sure you're locked in so you don't miss a thing. Now, keep, sell, or loan. This is actually my first one that I'm doing on YouTube. And when I first thought about doing this video, I said to myself, who would I actually sell right now? Based on logic and not so much emotion, because there are a lot of people that could be sold based on emotion right now, based on performances throughout the season or just recently. And we are going to get into it indeed. So do leave your comments in the comment section down below of who you would keep, sell, or loan indeed. And if I make any crazy decisions, I think some I'm going to leave to the comments. To be absolutely fair, I believe I'm going to leave some to the comments, but I think most of them we will agree on indeed. Or maybe not. Y'all might think I'm crazy, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. Let's get into this video. I've done too much yapping. And you know what? We could start with the main squad first, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to start with the loanees, because there are a couple of loanees that are currently on loan that, well, most of them I don't think have a future at Arsenal now. I feel like the boats have officially sailed, but there may be one or two that people might be interested in. And then we are going to get into the main squad, the main juice of it. So people them, loanees, first of all, goalkeeper, Karl Hein, keep, sell, or loan. Now, initially, last season, when we were in for Kepa, and of course we're going to get into Kepa later in this video. But when we were on for signing Kepa, I said to myself, I don't want another Chelsea player. We've already done the Chelsea player. We've already done the love affair with Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? Louise. We want to say Gallas. Havertz, Madueke. You know what I'm saying? Kepa is one of them. Who else am I forgetting? And you know, they're bare Chelsea players. Too much. Better check. Too much. It's too much. And for once in a goalkeeping position, I wanted to look to one of our own. I think we signed Karl Hein. I don't think he's come from Hale End, but he's been our number 2 goalkeeper for, well, our third choice goalkeeper for a while. And he's getting to an age where I think, you know what, he could have stepped up and tried him, seen what he's like in the Carabao Cups in those small games before actually trying him in the first team. Then we go for Kepa. So that put Karl Hein on the back foot and he gets moved to Wolfsburg on loan. I believe it is. But Karl Hein, I think it's time to move on. So Karl Hein, I will say, you know, I'm going to get through these very, very quickly because it's the squad that's going to be very, very interesting. Jakub Kiwior is actually one of the ones that I actually do like, but with the defensive reinforcements that we brought in with the likes of Nkapie, Calafiori, Mascara as well, Gabriel Saliba, you got Marley Salmon there as well. It's going to be tough for Jakub Kiwior to get into the squad in the foreseeable future. I do like Jakub Kiwior though as well, and he has some great performances in the running last season with performances against the likes of Real Madrid as well. He was very, very imperious, filling in for Gabriel in that big run in as well. So let's not forget that as well about Jakub Kiwior. But I believe on a general consensus is that Jakub Kiwior is going to be sold, and most likely it will be to Porto. Oh yeah, I forgot that Samuel Lokonga was made permanent as well, so that's why we're not talking about Samuel Lokonga anymore, because I believe him and Fabio Vieira went to the same team. HSV, was it Hamburg? I think it was HFV. One of them. Fabio Vieira came in with a lot of promise, and if we remember, it was in the 22-23 season, just after that, or just at the beginning of the 23-24 season, when it was out of nowhere. Both Fabio Vieira and Vitinha were at Porto, and we were linked with both of them, but we actually opted for Fabio Vieira in a 35 million deal, I think it was. Do you know what I'm saying? To give competition to the likes of Odegaard. He had some decent performances against the likes of Nottingham Forest, but since then, he's failed to impress, and that's why he's on loan at the moment. And I do believe someone like Fabio Vieira will not be returning to the club. So, sell Reiss Nelson. Unfortunately, he was one of the best coming out of Haaland at the time a few years ago. He was the next one up. He was seen as the one that's the most talented. And unfortunately, it's just not happened for Reiss Nelson. He's on loan at Brentford right now. Suffered an ACL injury, I believe, so he hasn't even played much games this season. And unfortunately, with our revamp of the wings with the likes of Trossard and Martinelli already there, and he couldn't get past them. He couldn't even get into the squad to challenge them at the same time. You're not challenging Saka on the right wing either as well. And Arsenal want to freshen up their left wing and probably their right wing as well. Whether it's that's another incoming or if Wanyeri on Dalman, you know, really start stepping up. Right wing sorted. Reece Nelson unfortunately doesn't have a place in this Arsenal side anymore. So we are going to sell Reece Nelson at one person that is on loan and that I definitely want to return to Arsenal and absolutely keep is our boy Ethan Wanyeri. He's been in and out of the squad since De Zerbi has left Marseille now. De Zerbi was a big figure and a bigger reason as to why Wanyeri went over to Marseille anyway, under his guideship as well. But unfortunately, there was a fallout between Marseille and De Zerbi, and that's why Ethan Wanyeri's time, his playing time, especially at Marseille, was putting down. And before we even, I know I'm talking about Marseille, never wanted him to leave the club in the first place. I feel like Ethan Wanyeri, especially on Sunday, was a player that we could have used. We didn't have no creativity on Sunday as well. And Wanyeri could have easily have started in that 10 role if he's seen as a central player more than a right winger, even though that's where he scored a lot of his goals last season in those last, since January. That's why Ethan Wanyeri scored a lot of his goals from was for the right wing on that left foot. Beautiful. But because he wasn't getting any minutes, because Arteta wasn't giving any minutes, that's why he went on loan in the first place. But I would definitely bring him back to the squad in the summer and keep him. So those are the loanies. So now, before we get into the main squad, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Rasenal TV, because this is where things could get interesting. And I also did this video on TikTok as well, right? So it was much quicker. That video was over by now. But let's get into this now. Some are going to be interesting and some are going to be straightforward. Tommy Setford. I would keep Tommy Setford. I would absolutely keep Tommy Setford. Came from Ajax, had a lot of rave reviews around him, big build up, not big build up, but he was praised a lot. And good references about him. He's only played a couple of times for Arsenal since he's come in, Carabao Cup games. In the last couple of seasons, 1 or 2 appearances, hasn't made any appearances this season for, I remember. Did he play against Port Vale? Maybe. I am not sure. I don't think so. But I would keep him. Actually, no. Do you know what? This is what I would do. I would loan him. Out, let him get some games. If he can get some, maybe, even some championship games. If you could loan him out to a strong championship side and really give him that rough exposure, that could be very, very good for Tommy Setford. So I'd actually loan him to a champion side. Yeah, probably next season indeed, if you're not going to give him any minutes. Let me hold that there. David Raya, absolutely, of course, keep. He's on course for his 3rd Golden Glove. Indeed, as well. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. One of the top 3 contenders for Arsenal's Player of the Season. And if Arsenal win the Premier League, I don't think he will win Player of the Season for the Premier League, but he could absolutely be up there. I wouldn't be surprised. David Raya has been nothing short of fantastic this season. Whether it becomes a phenomenal season if we win multiple trophies remains to be seen. But David Raya, absolutely keep. Now, the reason why I would send Tommy Setford on loan is because I am selling Kepa Arrizabalaga. I'm selling him and bringing in another number 2. A more competent, competent and stronger number 2 than not David Raya, Kepa, in my opinion. That mistake in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday just reiterated why I didn't want him in the first place. When a player comes into Arsenal, when they officially sign for Arsenal, you give them all the support in the world. But even in the Carabao Cup games that Kepa has played, even in the FA Cup games that Kepa has played, he hasn't looked commanding. There's always been a moment where he's been shaky. Very notable in the games against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup as well. Them goals that Garnacho scored as well. Not great. And he doesn't command his box well at all. He just doesn't. And I know he was a £5 million signing at the time, and it seemed like shrewd business. But if you buy someone for £5 million, you get £5 million results. You do get £5 million results, and I feel like that's what we got with Kepa. So it's time to move him on and bring in a new, stronger number 2 for next season, send Tommy Setford on loan. Those are the goalkeepers. Now, some of these defenders I'm absolutely going to fly through. We don't need to talk about them at all. And the ones we do not need to talk about, Saliba, don't need to talk about, keep him. Mascara, don't need to talk about, keep him. Potentially a mini Saliba, who knows? We will see. Who else doesn't need to be spoken about? Gabriel doesn't need to be spoken about, he's staying. Timber doesn't need to be spoken about, he is staying. Calafiori, you know, these are the 4 players that probably have some clouds over their heads, is what I will say. Calafiori, Skelly, and White. Maybe Hincapié. But let me speak about Calafiori first. And the reason why I'm going to speak about Calafiori, I've seen some rumours, but I don't know how true they are, that Arsenal could potentially be looking to move Calafiori on in the summer. But like I said, I don't know how strong they are. But this only stems from his recent injuries and the fact that Calafiori seems kind of injury prone, unfortunately. He's a fantastic footballer. He's a fantastic fullback. He's a fantastic left back. He can play centre back. He's a fantastic attacker and a fantastic finisher as well. We're not saying Calafiori is not a fantastic player, but if you're being hampered with injuries and you're starting to become injury prone, Tomiyasu was a fantastic. Imagine Tomiyasu in this team, because Tomiyasu could play anywhere across the back 4, but it was his injury problems that let him down, unfortunately. Could we potentially see something with Calafiori? I'm not sure, but in all saying that, I would keep Calafiori. I think he's that great, and I feel like if he can get over his injury problems, he will be phenomenal indeed. Hincapié. Now, Hincapié is currently on loan with Arsenal from Bayer Leverkusen, of course, and it looks like it's all pointing towards Arsenal actually signing him up on a permanent in the summer. We have an obligation to buy him, so I feel like we're going to make that official. Would I keep Hincapié? In the last couple of months alone, his performances have grown and grown and grown and grown. He had a bad time on Sunday against Semenyo in that cup final. Had a tough time indeed. That yellow card did not help him out, so I don't want that. I thought, you know what, the next time they link up, which will most likely be at the Etihad, I think it's going to be a very different game. And I feel like Hincapié, if he starts and Semenyo starts on that same side, will lock up Semenyo. I'm going to say that now. Hincapié, you stay. Sign on a permanent, please. Thank you very much. Now, Lewis Skelly. Now, some people may even answer, why is Lewis Skelly, why not put him in the midfield section? Well, Skelly has played most of his football at left back. Last season, Skelly's breakout season, the highest rated defender in the Real Madrid tie in that quarterfinal. Skelly versus Man City. Skelly from when he come in, because we were desperate. Again, the reason why Skelly came in was because Calafiori was injured. Who were our other left backs at the time? Tierney left in Jan. When did Tierney leave? Tierney left last season. No, Tierney left the season before, I think it was. I can't remember. But as I said, we were in a dire situation at left back, and Skelly put that left back position on his shoulder and said, I got this. That was the Skelly. The Skelly we've seen this season has just not been the same, and we don't know what's been going on with Lewis Skelly. Has he been disillusioned? Was he promised more minutes? Is he upset? Does Arteta not favour him? As we already know, we got the likes of Hincapié and Calafiori that can play there as well. He's even played Timber at left back sometimes as well. Skelly as well, we've wanted to see Skelly in midfield. We would have seen him against Wigan if Calafiori didn't get injured in the warm-up. How safe is Calafiori's position? The man is injury prone and we know this, but we're talking about Skelly right now. Look, Skelly's a fantastic player. I would like to see him in midfield. I would love to see Skelly in midfield against Southampton. I would love to see Skelly in midfield against Southampton with Norgard in behind and maybe Odegaard starting in the midfield. I would love to see that against Southampton. I wouldn't sell Lewis Skelly, but I would send him on loan because he is still young and he still has a long contract with Arsenal, and I still feel like he can break into this team. And there is a position for Lewis Skelly in this team where it's at left back or midfield. So let's not forget that the player that Skelly was, but he does need game time. He does need game time indeed. So we will be sending Lewis Skelly on loan. And last but not least, Benjamin White, Benny Blanco. First of all, congratulations on getting into the England squad, my bro. Fantastic for you. You should have been in an England squad time ago, and the way Southgate treated you and what his coach's stuff as well was not great. And I got a big up Thomas Tuchel as well for the way he's handled the situation, the way he's been very caring and very personal to you and understanding your side as well. And I'm pretty sure in those conversations he's spoken about your side and the England side and what both sides need to meet together to make this a beautiful endeavor. And I believe that is what has happened between Ben White and Thomas Tuchel. Now, personally, I feel like this is... I might have to leave this one to the comments, because in the TikTok video, I'll tell you what I said in a second. But I feel like this one I'm going to leave to the comments because, as I said, Ben White is a fantastic player. Right now, Urian Timber has his spot, and even Mosquera can play right back as well and has looked good out there when he's played out there when Timber has been injured and he's had to fill in for him. Ben White's a great player, and he's been unlucky with injury this season as well. We also know that Arsenal were looking at Livramento, potentially, of Newcastle, to come in and fill in that right back and left back position as well. I don't want to sell Ben White. I don't want to. I just think we will. So you know what? I'm going to leave this one for the comment section. Would you sell Ben White? Let me know in the comments below. Midfield, let's fly through the ones that I don't think will be happening this summer. Zubimendi's not going anywhere. Rice is not going anywhere. Eze is not going anywhere. Mikel Merino is not going anywhere with his injury, with his foot problem as well. And I feel like Arteta does love him as a player. And you know what? We are missing him right now. I don't think we'll see Merino go in the summer. The ones that we could see go in the summer, Christian Norgard. Unfortunately, he hasn't been favoured by Mikel Arteta, but I feel like most of the Arsenal fans will say that Norgard is a much better player than maybe Arteta gives him credit for. And actually trying him in the games and being more of a substitute option, or more rotation potentially needed, with the likes of Zubimendi being tired and playing the most minutes this season as well. Zubimendi has played the most minutes out of any Arsenal player this season, and he could have benefited from the rest. And I feel like Norgard is more than enough, more than adequate enough to come in and fill in for Zubimendi when it's been tired, but Arteta hasn't favoured him. And I don't think Norgard will sit on the bench for one more year and not play no football. The captain of Brentford, he was the captain of Brentford, playing week in, week out, and he's only played a few games this season. So I feel like for that reason, he may be moved on. So I'm going to say sell Norgard, but I don't want to. Martin Odegaard, though. This one is interesting because Martin Odegaard has probably had his toughest season at Arsenal to date. Substituted 3 times in a row due to injury, shoulder, knees, right? I remember it against West Ham. I remember him coming off against West Ham, because in the West Ham game, Arteta started Eze and Odegaard in the midfield. Comes off against West Ham. Zubimendi comes back on and was instrumental in us beating West Ham. But Odegaard, how many times has a captain been substituted for Premier League performances the way Odegaard has? Not many. Off before 60 minutes because he hasn't been playing well. There have been patches in the season where Odegaard has looked well, but these have been moments there where he's just come back from injury. And even when there was a period where he came back from injury and had a run of games, I think the likes of Everton, I want to say the likes of Villa, maybe the likes of, I can't remember, Fulham as well, maybe. I don't think Odegaard has performed at the optimum levels that we'd expect, but then he picks up another injury. So his injury has been stop-start. And because we know the level that Martin Odegaard has been at, 22-23 Arsenal Player of the Year, 23-24 Arsenal Player of the Year, getting a total of what? Across both seasons, 25 Premier League goals and what? 19 assists maybe across 2 seasons. I think he got 15 goals in the first season. 22-23. We know the level that Martin Odegaard can perform at. That's why we called him Captain Fantastic. A captain that didn't need to scream and shout on the pitch. A captain that could literally lead by example. Now, as of right now, Martin Odegaard is set to return from injury, and he could be featuring in that Southampton game, as I spoke about, on the 4th of April. Would I sell Martin Odegaard? The best version of Martin Odegaard? No, I would not sell. This version of Martin Odegaard? Potentially, yes. I'm going to leave the captain to the comments. I have to leave the captain to the comments. I genuinely cannot decide. This one is hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's so hard because I rate Odegaard so much. And he's come under a lot of fire recently. I'm not trying to pile onto him. So yeah, I'm going to leave this one to the comments. Let me know what you think about the captain. Now let's get onto the forwards, and let me get onto the ones that, well, let me get onto the ones that I think are definitely staying. This is who I think is that. Well, one player I know is definitely not being sold this summer is Bukayo Saka, and I would keep Saka, but I would tell him to, yo, brother, step up. You need to step up, but you need to step up now, my brother. Like Odegaard, you need to reach the levels of a few years ago that you've reached. But like you as well, you've had big injuries as well. Hamstring falling off the bone, not good. I've only pulled my hamstring twice. That hurt. That kept me out for a while. And unfortunately for like myself and everyone else like us who don't have the team doctors and the physicians and everyone else around us, it took me a long time to recover. Saka has got all of that around him. But this season as well, unfortunately, he's been hampered by injury again and again and again. And he just hasn't found his form. I would keep him, but star man. Bukayo, star man, Saka, got to step up. I have to step up. Step up. Time to step up. That's Saka. The other person I think that will definitely stay out of the attackers is hard. And you know why this attacking section is actually hard? It's because our attack hasn't been great this season. I mean, let me just read them out now. All our attackers haven't been great. Saka, Jesus came back in December, but he's flattered to deceive. And even that most recently, in that game against Mansfield, non-existent. And if you're non-existent against Mansfield, we got problems. Gabriel Martinelli, he's been fantastic in the Champions League. And he's, yeah, in terms of the Champions League and the FA Cup, top goal scorer. Martinelli's the man. In the Premier League, when it comes to week in, week out, he hasn't been the man. Has had some important moments, big goals against Manchester City. From what I can remember, as I said, the Champions League is there, flat to deceive. Gyökeres didn't have the best starts. Looked like he was coming into form up until we got injured against Burnley. Comes out injured, returns in around late November, early December. Was probably poor for time. He's probably poor for time, and then he probably finds his shooting boots. He starts to find the shooting boots at the beginning of 2026. I don't know what the stat is now, but I still think Gyökeres has the highest goals of the strikers in 2026. I still think that is the case. So he's had an upturn in the form and currently has 16 goals in all competitions, 11 in the Premier League. So it's not bad. It could be better. I expected more from Victor Gyökeres as well. Leandro Trossard, like Martinelli, hasn't had the best of seasons at all. Trossard. Numbers are 5 goals in the Prem, 5 assists, I think. A couple of goals in the Champions League, 1 or 2 in the EFL Cup. But performances, for someone who is seen as probably one of the best finishers at the club, called him Mr. Clutch for a reason, Trossard has not. At one point, I said, you know what? He's earned his pay rise. Now I look back on that and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's not looking great, people. It's not looking great. Madueke, Lord of mercy. Everything looks brilliant until the end product. Everything looks brilliant. And even for the ones that are calling him to start ahead of Saka, they want Madueke to start ahead of Saka before his burst of pace and his trickery. But his end product is practically poor. Apart from a smacker versus Bayern, we've played Portsmouth, Wigan, Mansfield. I think he scored a banger against Mansfield as well. He got given a goal versus Leeds from a corner. But as I'm saying, I'm literally picking. Madueke's not been great either. He's been okay on the right, not great on the left. What do you want me to say? Kai Havertz recently returned from injury towards the end of December, early January. And those couple of games he played in the 10 looked decent against Kairat in the Champions League, him and Gyökeres linking up. He looked decent in Leeds and he looked decent in Sunderland. Then he comes back out with another injury again for another month or so. And it's only recently come back. Game against Man City wasn't great in the 10 at all. I think a lot of these players could easily go. A lot of these attackers could easily go. Easily. The only one that is safe is Saka. The man should sign a new contract. He's not going anywhere. I think the other one that is safe, and I feel like we'll give him a pre-season, is Gyökeres. But this is keep, sell or loan. This is keep, sell or loan. So you know what? Let's get into this now. Sell Jesus. Sell Martinelli. Keep Gyökeres. Sell Trossard. I'm going to leave the last two to the comments as well. Madueke and Havertz. Would you sell Madueke or Havertz? Keep, sell or loan. What would you do? I think the ones we need to decide as a community, Havertz, Madueke, Odegaard, Ben White. Keep, sell or loan. Let me know in the comment section down below. And that has been your keep, sell or loan video here on Rasenal TV. As I said, first one could be the first of many. It will be the first of many because there's always a talking point. And that summer transfer window is approaching, and we are going to be talking about transfers again very, very soon. So make sure you're locked in on Rasenal TV because the Rasenal Transfer Centre will be making an appearance again very, very soon. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if you'd like me to do something similar, let me know. Put your ideas in the comment section down below. And if you are still here, how would I know if you're still here? I need to ask a question. The sky is... If you're living in... No. Actually, it's very simple. I know the question I'm going to ask is very, very simple. Don't even overthink it. Are Arsenal going to win the Premier League? Yes or no? That's how I know you've made it here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Rasenal TV. I've been your host, Dini. We'll speak soon.